Mr. Biden worked with segregationist Southern senators to get legislation passed. Okay? So did Ted Kennedy. So did every liberal in the Senate. Everyone. But Biden is the guy in the public eye right now. So the far left's got to smash him. Okay? And smash him they are. Roll the tape.
I think it's not just him putting his foot in his mouth or a gaffe, but I think it's actually who Joe Biden is. Sometimes he thinks he needs to cater more to conservatives than to Democrats. I mean, if you look time and time again with the activist energy in the Democratic Party, Joe Biden often opposes activist energy in the Democratic Party.
Now, activist energy, what that means is far left kookism, crazyism. And Biden knows that you can't have open borders, that you can't have reparations for slavery. He knows that those policies, should the Democratic Party put them in their platform, would destroy the party. Biden knows that. Most Americans don't want open borders. They don't want amnesty. They don't want reparations. 8% of white Americans, according to a Marist College poll, favor reparations for slavery. 8%. Okay, so Biden knows all this. So he's not buying into the crazy left. So the crazy left is trying to destroy him. However, Biden is being disingenuous. How's that for the word of the day? Disingenuous. So he writes a column, Joe does. Of course, he didn't write it. One of his minions wrote it. And the Miami Herald prints it because the Democratic debate this week is in Miami. All right? So I'm just going to read you the part on the border situation that's most relevant. Quote, the wall won't stop the flow of illegal narcotics or human trafficking, both of which come primarily through legal ports of entry. Nor will it stop asylum seekers fleeing the most desperate conditions imaginable and who have the right to have their cases heard. Interesting. Nor will it stem the numbers of undocumented, most of them overstay legal visas. We need to focus on improving screening procedures at our legal ports of entry and making smart investments in border technology. These are sensible policies that will do more for our security than a wall ever could, unquote. So Biden has no strategy to stop the millions of people trying to get in here illegally. He has nothing. There is no common ground anymore, and this is important, between the far left and America as we know it, or knew it. There's no common ground between George Soros, an American citizen, by the way, and me. None. He wants to tear the country, the system down. And I want to defend the system. We don't have détente. It's impossible. That's how far apart it is. In this Democratic debate, those moderators should understand how far left most of these Democrats are and try to illuminate that for those people watching. Will they? No. All right, Nancy Pelosi wants now to allow anyone who's in this country, no matter how they got here, no matter how many laws they broke, no matter what they did, to stay unimpeded. Roll the tape.
He didn't say what he was going to do, but the president said, I'll let you know. Went into, well, people broke the law. A violation of status is not a reason for deportation. That's just not so.
Okay, so what she's talking about is President Trump, all right, ordering ICE to round up people whose cases have already been decided and there is a warrant out against them signed by a judge, federal immigration judge, removing them from the country. The Speaker of the House of Representatives just told you that she doesn't believe that law should be enforced, that she doesn't believe that anybody, quote, violating status have committed a crime. Even though a federal judge, it's clear what immigration law says. You can't come in here undocumented and stay. You can't. But Pelosi, no, because I don't like that law. I don't like it. So I'm going to say that it's not the law. She's lying. And then she says, oh, you misinterpreted. No, I didn't. A judge signed the warrant. There were warrants out for 2,000 illegal aliens. And that's who ICE is going to find and deport. They have warrants out. But Ms. Pelosi says those warrants are somehow invalid. This is anarchy, and she is obstructing justice. So the lead story is this awful situation near Matamoros, Mexico, where an El Salvadoran dad and his 2-year-old daughter drowned in the Rio Grande. The picture is horrific. Just going to show it to you so you know how bad this is. They're trying to come to America for a better life, and they drowned. And it's horrible. And it never, ever should happen. But this is the result of two things: corruption in Mexico and Central America, and a United States Congress that for decades has refused to deal with the immigration problem responsibly. Both should take a long look at that picture of the father and his little daughter in the Rio Grande River. It's one of the most horrific things I've ever seen in my 45 years in journalism. And to think that this is a political situation, this migrant and illegal immigration that has hurt so many people in the United States and the migrants themselves. So many people have gotten hurt, yet Congress will not try to solve the problem, and the corrupt nations to our south are almost beyond redemption. Now, I'm just going to remind you, and this comes from Byron York, who writes for the Washington Examiner. He listed 26 people who said flat out, there's no crisis at the southern border. 26. I'm just going to give you the biggest names: Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Attorney General of California, Xavier Becerra, Joe Scarborough, MSNBC, Nicole Wallace, MSNBC, Bill Kristol, conservative guy, and the Washington Post editorial board. All of them said no crisis, because Media Matters told them to say that. And Mr. York did a good job, and he said he could have come up with 100 names. So the far left doesn't want to solve the border problem because they believe that the catastrophe of illegal immigration is simply going to overwhelm and the nation will give up, just like we're giving up in the war on drugs and other social issues. All right, so tonight you got Biden, Sanders, Kamala Harris, Kirsten Gillibrand, Michael Bennet from Colorado, Eric Swalwell from California, John Hickenlooper is a smart guy from Colorado. Hickenlooper is smart. Mayor Pete, Andrew Yang, he's some business guy, and Marianne Williamson, some author. So out of this, Biden is the guy that they're going to jab. All right, Bernie, I don't know what Bernie's going to do. Kamala Harris has to impress. I don't know if she can. But they're all way to the left, except for Hickenlooper. Buttigieg has a chance tonight. Because the NBC people, they may jab him a little. Had a lot of trouble in South Bend because of the police African-American incident there, and he couldn't handle it. But I don't think NBC is going to try to take him to task for it. By the way, nobody asked Warren about the Indian thing. That's a sign of the times. But Biden, he's going to float above, and he's going to go, look, I'm Barack Obama's best friend, and we did so well. You did? Well, then how come Trump was elected? I mean, that's a question for Biden. If you did so well with Barack Obama, how come Trump's in there? You think anybody's going to ask that? No. Well, Biden will go, I've been in office since U.S. Grant. I know everybody. He'll get a segregation question. Biden will. Sanders, he'll say the same stuff. That's all he did. I don't know where Harris goes. Gillibrand is so far left, it's crazy. She's like de Blasio. And the rest of them are inconsequential, other than Mayor Pete. Keep your eye on Mayor Pete. Because the Democrats would like him. He's a gay guy and articulate. They'd like him up there. Now, the four deficits that the Democrats have are the health care. We're going to ban private health care. Government's going to run health care. That would be a disaster here in America. Most people know it. 2, open border, everybody comes in, amnesty for everybody. Most Americans don't want it. Okay, 3, reparations for slavery. 8% of white Americans support that. 8. And the last one is unfettered abortion. You want to wipe the fetus out, the baby out, you can do it for any reason at any time. It's going to be hard for people of faith to vote for that. It'd be interesting to see if the clerics, the Christian clerics, step up. It's going to be hard for any person of faith to vote for that. So the Democrats have some problems, some big problems in 4 areas.